What does your graduation signify? As you know, studying at the GSB means so much more than mastering the concepts of management. It is as much about personal transformation. As you sit before us, eager to receive your diplomas, I encourage you to think about how you have changed and grown during your time here. Your graduation today celebrates all that you have done and become, and your readiness to have a dramatic and positive impact on the organizations you will lead, manage, and found, and through those organizations, the communities they serve. What you have accomplished in your time at the GSB, you have not accomplished alone. You have learned and received help and guidance, mentorship and support from many quarters, all of which are represented here today. First, you're sitting shoulder to shoulder with your classmates as you have throughout your time here. Think how much you have learned from one another in squads, clubs, study trips, talk, touchy-feely, or just in quiet conversation together. You have forged bonds that will become lifelong friendships, which will nurture and sustain you in the years ahead. Take a moment to show your appreciation for one another. Sitting behind me on the stage is a group of faculty who represent the more than 200 tenure-line faculty and practitioners who have been your teachers, coaches, mentors, study trip companions, career advisors, and so much more. I would ask the faculty to stand so that your students can show their appreciation. And at various locations throughout the amphitheater are staff from the MBA, MSX, and PhD programs. Without their tireless efforts on your behalf, none of us would be celebrating here today. I ask the staff to stand wherever they are and be recognized. I have left the most important for last. Each of you has been supported by family and friends, as you will throughout your lives. They have provided encouragement, validation, love, and yes, in many cases, financial support too. While we will hand your diplomas to you, you know that in parentheses after your name belong the names of those who have nurtured you and supported you along the way. This is your opportunity to stand and say thank you to your friends and family who are celebrating your mutual accomplishment with you.
We got a picture of the president back there, see that? See the poster?
Most days during your time in the Unite Management Center, you have walked through the town square on your way to or from class and have walked by, around, or through the replica of an athletics track which holds an inscribed quote from Phil Knight. The quote begins, There comes a time in every life where the past recedes and the future opens. It's that moment when you turn to face the unknown. Stepping out of that athletics track into the GSB are a pair of sneaker prints from a pair of felt Nikes. And let's all admit it, in the privacy of this intimate gathering, most of us have at one time or another put our own feet into those footprints and stepped into the GSB. I thank you for the myriad ways in which you have stepped into the GSB and enriched it with your presence during your time here. Now you face one of those moments that Phil talks about in the inscription, where the future opens and you turn to face the unknown. And at the end of the stage here today, we have put down another pair of footprints to encourage you all to think about how you will step from the GSB into the future. I have 3 hopes for you as you take that step. First, take a huge stride. At the GSB, we have not just encouraged you to dream, but tried to instill in you the courage to pursue those dreams. We have surrounded you by classmates who can help you to nurture them, and we have provided you with an education that gives you the knowledge and insight to guide you in your quest. We have done this because we think that the biggest problems in the world, whether in education, global poverty, healthcare, the environment, water, governance, or business, are at their core business, leadership, and management challenges. There are big and important challenges, and the world needs change agents who are willing to tackle them with passion and with innovative ideas. Changing lives, organizations, and the world requires that you dream big. Second, walk with confidence. It takes courage to lead and to innovate in order to bring about real change. Don't shy away from living a life of impact and meaning, even if that isn't always the easiest road to walk. Changing lives, organizations, and the world requires not just ambition, but purpose as well. Third, walk together. There's an old African saying which goes, walk together, walk far. Stay as tightly connected as you are today and continue to support one another in your aspirations. And come back regularly and stay connected to all of us. Changing lives, organizations, and the world is a team sport. So as you walk off this stage today, diploma in hand, and you step into the future, take a big stride, walk with confidence, and walk together. We are looking forward to following your journeys as you step out of the GSB today. Our graduation speaker today is an alumnus who has not just taken big strides himself, but who has also created the footwear with which to do it. Phil Knight graduated from the Stanford GSB with an MBA in 1962 and went on to co-found Nike with Bill Bauman, his former running coach, at his undergrad alma mater, the University of Oregon. You may think Phil turned to making shoes instead because he wasn't any good at running in them. Not so. Phil clocked a personal best of 4 minutes, 10 seconds in the mile. Phil is a great guy. And I don't just mean that in the narrow but very impressive sense of someone who co-founded and led one of the most successful, influential, and iconic brands in the world. Phil leads with character. He's a man of integrity who has the courage to speak his mind and who speaks from the heart. I love that about him. Phil is also a thoughtful and generous philanthropist. In addition to providing the lead gift of $105 million to enable the building of the Night Management Center, and being a great supporter of athletics at the University of Oregon, Phil and his wife Penny last year pledged $500 million in matching funds. That's $500 million. Towards the Knight Cancer Institute at Oregon Health and Science University. All of us, especially those who either personally or in our families have been touched by that terrible disease, thank Phil and Penny for their generosity of spirit and resources. Please join me in giving Phil Knight a warm GSB welcome.
Thank you. Dean Saloner, graduates, family, friends, faculty, Dean Joss, and Honorable Condoleezza Rice. I'm sorry that R.J. Miller could not be here today. He would be the one person in this gathering that would refer to me as that young man. I graduated from this school in 1962. More than half a century ago. It was a time when jet travel was just beginning with the introduction of the Boeing 707. There was no Silicon Valley per se. There were no fax machines. There was no internet. There were no cell phones, no iPads. The latest technological development was the color TV. There was no such thing as venture capital. The number one company in the world was General Motors. The biggest firm on Wall Street was Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Finner, and Smith. Commercial banks were not allowed to engage in investment banking activities, and there was no birth control pill. There was absolutely nothing in my journey that has any specific application for what awaits you. In so many ways, today's talk could be called Return of the Dinosaur. Why, therefore, before this, the greatest class ever to graduate from this best business school on the planet? Why did the dean ask me to be here? And my answer is I don't really know. But I suppose there may be some hope that parts of my journey might be relevant in attitude and philosophy. I hope so. But why I, a person who intensely dislikes public speaking, chose to accept is perfectly clear to me. The answer is, it is personal. For me, it is a rounding of the circle. There was a part of me that was born here. I had come here at age 22, a bit lost. For me, an extrovert was a person who stared at other people's shoes. Shy, insecure, unsure of what I wanted to do with my life. 2 years later, I left, much better educated. I was still shy and insecure, but I knew what I wanted to do if only I could pull it off. And that was to bring to life the business plan written in Frank Schallenberger's entrepreneurship class. So I returned, 52 years after my own graduation, to this place, this magical place which is an extended part of me. I returned to say thank you here where all the aspiration began. In the summer between my first and second year, I'd had a long existential debate with myself, finally concluding that I would, before going to work for 40 years, take 1 year to go around the world, looking for education, for enlightenment, looking for myself. And in the winter term of my second year, I took that entrepreneurship class, whose road led to Japan. So after putting in my required 2 weeks of U.S. Army summer camp at Fort Ord, selling my car, saying bon voyage to parents and sisters, I set out with Gary Carter, who I met when we were both living in Carruthers Hall. In September, we were ready to go. We drove down El Camino to the liquor store. It was the ticket agent for Standard Airways, a discount charter airline. For $80, we got on a Convair 880, a prop, of course, leaving from Moffett Field, 8 hours to Hawaii. We would surf in the mornings and sell encyclopedias door to door in the early evening. I'm sure I'm the only graduate in the history of this school whose first job after graduation was selling encyclopedias. After a month of this, I was ready to go on, but Gary had met a girl he liked a little too much to leave. So now I'm stuck with a decision: go home or not go at all. I loved Japan instantly. The people were friendly, and many parts of the countryside scenic. And the yen was $3.60 to the dollar, so many things were affordable, like hotel rooms and meals and athletic shoes. After a week, I wound my way to Kobe, which was the headquarters of Anitsuka Company Limited, manufacturer of Tiger athletic shoes, which I had identified as the best quality, the ones with the best chance of getting a piece of the U.S. market. I called on the telephone and explained I was a U.S. businessman in town, and I had an interest in distributing their shoes in the United States. I got an appointment. I donned my one business suit, Brooks Brothers, with a blue Oxford shirt, black necktie, slipped on my black Bailey loafers, and took a taxi to the wrong location. Couldn't read signs. I had gone to the showroom. They wanted me at the manufacturing facility completely on the other side of town. So I show up a half hour late. I'm already